A monster? Where? That could have gone better.
You've probably watched The Cat in the Hat and thought, yeah, I know this one. Mike Myers in a tall hat, two kids causing chaos, a fish that won't stop complaining. But behind that film is a production story nobody really talks about. A makeup process so brutal it took 4 hours every single day, a budget of $120 million that still wasn't enough, and a finished film so wrong that Dr. Seuss's own widow personally banned all future live-action Seuss adaptations the moment she saw it. Today we're counting down 12 weird facts about The Cat in the Hat that will completely change how you see it. And by the time we get to number 1, you'll realize this film left a stranger legacy than anyone expected. But before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. It's the best way to support the channel. Let's get into it.
It involves murder.
Number 12. Audrey Geisel, widow of Theodore Seuss Geisel, had retained significant creative control over adaptations of her late husband's work. She approved this film. She watched the finished product, and then she made a decision that has held firm for over 20 years. She has never delivered a lengthy public statement about exactly what crossed the line for her. She didn't need to. The film speaks for itself. What is remarkable is the weight of that single decision. One person watching one finished film and drawing a permanent line. Every Seuss adaptation since has been animated. That boundary has not moved. The Cat in the Hat is the reason it exists.
Acid spitting some scissor. What will it take to get you out of my face?
Number 11. The cat's physical transformation required Mike Myers to sit in a makeup chair for 2.5 to 3 hours before a single frame was shot each day. The prosthetics, the facial structure, the fur application, the signature hat rigging. Every element of the character's look was built onto Myers' face from scratch every morning for the entire production. At the end of each shooting day, the removal process took another hour. Myers was spending close to 4 hours daily just getting in and out of the character's appearance. The physical demands of performing inside that makeup, limited facial movement, restricted peripheral vision, the weight of the prosthetics over a full shooting day, were significant. Several crew members noted that Myers rarely broke character between takes, partly because climbing back into the character's energy after stepping out of it took considerable effort.
Thing 1, Comrade Sally, thing 1. Thing 2, Comrade Sally,
Number 10. Dr. Seuss wrote The Cat in the Hat in 1957 as a direct response to a challenge. Create a children's book using only 236 specific vocabulary words that a first grader would know. He managed 1,629 words total. The entire story can be read aloud in under 10 minutes. It is spare, precise, and deliberately simple, a masterwork of doing more with less. The filmmakers had to build a 90-minute studio comedy from that. Almost everything in the film, the subplot, the villain, the extended sequences, the adult humor, the entire second and third act, was invented entirely from scratch. The source material provided a premise, 2 characters, a fish, and a rainy day. The film took those elements and constructed something Dr. Seuss never wrote, never intended, and by all evidence, never would have approved.
Someone lose a dog? I found him next door in my yard.
Number 9. Alec Baldwin played Larry Quinn, the slick, self-interested boyfriend of the children's mother, the film's closest thing to a human antagonist. It is a deliberately broad, cartoonishly vain performance, and Baldwin committed to every inch of it. Hair slicked back, teeth gleaming, permanently self-satisfied expression locked in place. He looked like a man who had studied several different kinds of wrong and synthesized them into one character. Baldwin has spoken about the role with the kind of good-natured distance that comes from knowing a film didn't work, but being at peace with your own part in it. He understood what the movie was trying to be. He delivered exactly what was asked of him. Whether the film deserved that level of professional commitment from a performer of his caliber is a separate question, but his Larry Quinn is one of the few elements that consistently lands the way it was intended.
See, corn dog, this is why I warned you not to open the crate. Although, on the plus...
Number 8. The Cat in the Hat was built to look like a Seuss illustration brought to life. Skewed angles, impossible architecture, colors that don't exist in nature, structures that appear to defy basic physics. Achieving that on a physical set required the production design team to construct environments that were, by conventional building standards, genuinely bizarre. The film's production budget was approximately $120 million. A significant portion of that went directly into building the world. Sets that were deliberately warped, furniture constructed at wrong angles, entire rooms designed so that nothing sat at 90 degrees to anything else. The visual ambition was real, even when the execution around it wasn't. Walk through those sets without any of the film's other problems, and what you're looking at is genuinely impressive work from a team that took their assignment seriously when very little else around them did.
Yep, they're done.
Number 7. The Cat in the Hat received a PG rating, not for action, not for scary content, but specifically for crude humor and mild language. For a film based on a children's picture book aimed at first graders, that is a notable distinction. Several jokes in the finished film were considered edgy enough during production that there were genuine internal conversations about what needed to be pulled back. Some of those conversations resulted in cuts, others did not. The jokes that made it through, including a double entendre involving a dirty hoe that Myers delivers with full awareness of exactly what he's saying, were the subject of parental complaints after release. The filmmakers have never fully explained the logic of making a Dr. Seuss adaptation that required parents to have unexpected conversations with their children on the drive home. The PG rating was earned. The earning of it remains one of the stranger creative decisions in the film's history.
I was bred, he never listened to a single thing his mother said. He never used a litter box, he made a mess in the...
Number 6. Dakota Fanning was considered for the role of Sally before the part went to Dakota Fanning's near contemporary, with the role ultimately going to a different young actress. Actually, the role went to Dakota Fanning's frequent casting competition of the era. The part was ultimately played by Dakota Fanning was among the names seriously discussed before the role went to a young actress making one of her first significant film appearances. The casting process for the two child leads was extensive. The production needed children who could hold their own against an adult performer in full prosthetic character, makeup delivering improvised material at high energy. The children who were cast, Spencer Breslin and Dakota Fanning's contemporary in the final version, had to respond believably to a cat who wasn't fully scripted and wasn't predictable, performing opposite Mike Myers in full costume. Holding the scene and keeping it grounded is a specific skill. The casting team spent considerable time finding the right combination before settling on who ended up on screen. Number 5. Mike Myers came to the set with the script as a framework rather than a fixed document. Large portions of the cat's dialogue and behavior were improvised on the day. Myers riffing inside the character, finding moments the script hadn't anticipated, pushing scenes in directions the director would then choose to keep or redirect. This was not an unusual approach for Myers, whose best work has always lived in the space between preparation and spontaneity. The challenge on this particular film was that improvisation works when the surrounding material can absorb and match it. When Austin Powers improvised, the world around him improvised back. Here, the improvisations were landing inside a more rigid structure, and the gap between Myers's loose, exploratory energy and the film's predetermined requirements sometimes created a disconnect that the editing couldn't fully smooth over. The best cat moments in the film are the improvised ones. The problem is the seams around them.
If you want to make cupcakes, I can take you to your friend Ginny's house.
Ginny's not my friend anymore. Last time we made cupcakes.
Number 4. The Cat in the Hat earned approximately $233 million worldwide against a production and marketing budget that, when combined, pushed the break-even point considerably higher. than the theatrical gross alone could cover. By studio accounting, a film that earns $233 million globally can still be classified as underperforming, and this one was. The domestic number told the clearest story. The film opened to $38 million in its first weekend. Respectable, but below the projections, a $120 million production with a major comedy star typically generates. It fell sharply in its second weekend, suggesting word of mouth was not carrying it forward. Critical reviews averaging around 9% on Rotten Tomatoes did the rest. 200 million earned. A franchise killed. Audrey Geisel drawing a permanent line. By any honest measure, the numbers didn't save it.
And say hello to the amazing cupcake. I'm so excited!
Number 3. Bo Welch directed The Cat in the Hat. His background was not in feature film direction, it was in production design, where he had built one of the most impressive resumes in Hollywood. He designed Batman Returns, Edward Scissorhands, and Men in Black, among others. He understood better than almost anyone how to build a visually distinctive world from the ground up. This was his feature directorial debut, and the challenge was enormous. A high-budget studio comedy with a major star, a beloved source property, and a visual ambition that required both technical mastery and the ability to manage a large, complex production. Welch's design instincts served the film's look. Managing Myers's improvisational energy, the child performers, and the studio's commercial requirements simultaneously was a different kind of problem. The visual world of the film reflects his genuine skill. Everything else reflects the difficulty of learning to direct on one of the more demanding possible first assignments.
Where did you come from?
How do I put this? With a mommy cat and it.
Number 2. The cat's iconic red and white striped hat stands over 4 feet tall in the film. Building it and keeping it structurally sound through a full shooting day of Myers moving, gesturing, and performing physical comedy required engineering solutions that the costume department had to develop specifically for this production. The hat was not a prop. It was a wearable architectural element. The full costume, including the fur suit, the gloves, the bow tie, and the hat, weighed enough that Myers was effectively wearing a significant physical burden through every take. The fur material had to move naturally on camera while surviving the heat generated by studio lighting over a 10 to 12-hour shooting day. Multiple versions of every costume element were built: backup suits, backup hats, masks, components in various states of wear for continuity purposes. The wardrobe budget alone was a line item that would have funded smaller films entirely. What you see on screen for 90 minutes represented months of construction work before Myers ever stepped in front of a camera.
Not going to military school.
I think you're gonna love it. It's just like summer.
Number 1. The Cat in the Hat is, by most honest measures, a failed film. The reviews said so. The sequel that was planned never happened. Audrey Geisel's permanent ban on live-action adaptations is the most lasting thing it produced. And yet, 20 years later, there is a specific generation of people for whom this movie is a genuine piece of childhood. Not despite its wrongness, but partly because of it. The film was strange enough, loud enough, and specific enough that it lodged in the memory of every child who watched it in a way that more polished, more carefully executed family films sometimes don't. The moments that adults found inappropriate flew over younger heads and landed as pure chaos energy, which children tend to find delightful regardless of intention. The Cat in the Hat failed as an adaptation. It failed as a franchise launch. It failed as a critical object. What it accidentally became was a weird, specific artifact that a generation of people remember more vividly than dozens of better films released the same year. That is not nothing. It is, in its own strange way, exactly the kind of thing Dr. Seuss might have appreciated. Something that had no business working anyway, in ways nobody planned for and nobody can fully explain. And that is 12 weird facts about The Cat in the Hat you didn't know. Whether this made you cringe, laugh, or genuinely want to rewatch it tonight, drop a comment below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.